His art of a Yoruba duchess in bundle is deliberate a domestic artwork, in copies of it suspended in Nigerian homes through the nation. To lot assumption, the desired after unique was loose for above 40 year. A history of a loose art and the excessive cost these kind of trimming sale for is ever potential to seize concern and imaginations. Yet, the history of the man oneself goes for the history and the recording break cost, to a Nigerian contemporary painter, his art sold out to. Enwonwu navigated the planets among UK and Nigerian royal power. At the identical period, his plant, onto Western African art specialist Sylvester Ogbechi, became utilized in famous dark release movements. Enwonwu is largest venerated for his pictorial, but ever called to oneself as a statue. Mainly, his lifetime was facility. In nature, Enwonwu Overridden which it intended to be an African painter. Who was Enwonwu? As color and mold, Enwonwu wrote considerably on the challenges cladding African artists. In a experience spelled in 1956, he written his thoughts, same African painter, many faces the indignity of possessing to hear to lectures on African art in overseas art galleries and museums. He recognized how down there were impeding prevent African artists game a center part in their experience, creature frequently doveholed and anticipated to make conventional ethnographical, not contemporary and world, African artwork. Enwonwu's art story time Enwonwu railed versus the art civilization at the period, his learning was in set elitists institutions. He was classically learned at the Slade High School of Penalty Art in London and visited Oxford College. Enwonwu rapidly rose to world fame. He was famous for his imaginative sculptures and pictorial. Enwonwu colored in watercolors and cut abstraction-inspired timber figures. Thou include to know how essential his popularity was in the 1950s. Enwonwu was so renowned how his successes were plugged in dark struggles through the ball. African Americans were really lot fascinated by the painter, Ogbechi told. Enwonwu's was as well portion of the modernism art motion of the medium century. Same's a contemporary painter who got learning as a contemporary painter and excited in modernism art circles. He was really lot concerned in making an art how edged the state of contemporary, Ogbechi told. His sitters turned on UK royal power of the highest procedure. Of his largest renowned portraits was a bronzed he did of her greatness the Tsarina, Pepiet told. Impact in Nigeria Enwonwu done an effect in London, but his largest powerful plant would be seen in his household nation Nigeria. The Biafra motion, mostly done up of Igbo human beings in southeastern Nigeria, fought to go out of Nigeria among 1967 to 70. The Profi-Biafrans lose the warfare. It was considerable for Nigerian community how Enwonwu, an Igbo, colored a Yoruba Ile-Ife duchess, portion of one of Nigeria's some main groups, in the ramifications of the warfare. The Nigerian country proceeded to begin a conciliation program to try to heal up divisions. Of the things they requested to begin making is to show Igbo human beings they are creature recovered in the domestic flesh, Ogbechi told. Same bundle pictorial were completely urgent to the trial of domestic conciliation in Nigeria. In the previous 1970s, Enwonwu later became a prof of art at the College of Ife, an academia center for the Yoruba human beings. The art job, although, did promote to the increase of Nigerian art how continues to this date. He gave present ability to artwork, Oliver Enwonwu told. A new general of African artists his job affecting present modern artists in Nigeria, not lo his son who heads up the Omenka balcony in Lagos. I grew up smelly the oil paints and observer him microchip off at blocks of timber. It was thing that had been entrenched in my really cloth, Oliver told. Enwonwu surely leftward his mark on story. He legitimized the concept of the painter as a sustainable experience amongst the Nigerian people, Ogbechi told. Modern Nigerian painter Ehikaminor mined the latter auction house was favorable for the appearance of African artwork, but showed the injustice how yet exists, while you see it while he was practitioner down there are some artists that are not African, how are not Nigerian, how are not dark whose plant include sold out 2 times, 3, 4 persons times which we are speaking on currently. Enwonwu's job achieved Nigerian community and next generations of artists, yet, on to Ogbechi who knew him individually, he was a hermit. So who was Enwonwu? Maybe, a comely doubt, innovative African painter.